How's she been?
Good. Oh my goodness. So this weekend, those Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we had people over. It was kind of the first time we've had people over with her training, and his brother ended up staying the night, and like even he was like impressed with how good she was with him, like just existing.
Yes.
We placed her and she just she grumbled a couple times at him. We had him ring the doorbell, she didn't bark. We corrected that and placed her, and it was like she grumbled a couple times at him, but then Friday rolled around and we had a gate between the two to just give her a break from like wearing everything. And he was petting the other dog, and she was like crying and wagging her tail at him because he was talking to her too. And it was just, I think Saturday was the longest we had ever placed her for. I think we placed her for 3 hours, and she stayed with 50, and she just stayed in that spot. I think she grumbled and like growled once that we had to correct, but other than that, she just kind of stayed in her spot and just chilled the entire time, the entire weekend.
So when he was like talking to the other dog and like petting and stuff, did you feel like she wanted to interact? Like
it felt that way.
Yeah, it felt like she wanted to at least go over and
see what was going on.
Why the other dog was okay. I don't think she really wanted to be pet because as soon as he like turned and stopped petting the other dog, she stopped wagging her tail.
And then kind of just sat there and stared.
And then sat there and stared at him.
Yeah.
But as long as he was petting the other dog, she was very interested in
the interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. And remind me, prior to training, like had you had people come over before, like, and you saw like
It was very, very different than what we had. Like she was very, very aggressive, very like just could not control her, barking. She snapped at his fingers once with his brother, went with treats, and it was just never a good interactions.
Yeah, so she wasn't always that way. So like she let Nikki pet her.
Yeah.
And she let Lydia pet her until she was about a year old, a little more than a year old, and then we stopped bringing her around because she was still reactive with everyone else. So there were like select people that she was okay with, but the more negative reactions that she had with people, like quicker, so she kept getting more and more reactive till she got to the point where she was instantly reactive seeing somebody.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And how long was he there for?
Thursday,
2
Friday,
days.
Saturday.
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
Okay. By the third day, did you notice any, like, did she seem more relaxed, or was she still just like a bit tense?
She was, because then on Saturday we had two more people come over, and Saturday that was when we placed her for 3 hours. She grumbled once, and I think that was because of the other two people, not necessarily.
My sister was walking by really close to her where she placed, so she grumbled.
Yeah. She did have
and then she was reactive with the other dog because the other dog got close to her.
Right.
And was
with
sniffing
all
her
stuff on.
with a sniff her butt. She we try to minimize that as much as possible by keeping him away from her, especially when she has her
equipment.
All the stuff on, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is your dog or like their dog?
No, our dog, yeah. The other dog, yeah.
Okay.
The older one.
Okay, so how comfortable is she with the other dog?
She's normally fine with him. The only time she ever gets reactive is when he sniffs her butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
Which, we try to keep them separated when like letting them out, so he doesn't do that. And we've corrected her anytime she lunges at him for sniffing her butt, but he's 13 years old. Or training him is just not something we're interested in right now.
He's enjoying the golden years.
Yeah.
He's enjoying the golden years.
He's got a big tumor on his on his
He's not doing
midsection,
great.
and he's not
Sure.
doing great, so.
Yeah, no, I understand, yeah, for
That's
sure.
right.
So, okay.
I know it was a lot that we just info dumped on you, but.
No, I mean, there's some stuff where I'm just like, yeah, like, it's not really even worth it.
Right.
You know, so like, he's 13, he's got a tumor, he's old, it is what it is, like, what you're doing right now is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so, when it comes to pushing to the next step, right?
That was what we were gonna ask.
Yes.
So like the next step with, because now I think John's comfortable with coming over to our house with the progress that he's seen with her, and that, you know, what is the next step with that, with him
Right.
specifically.
So this can go, there's a number of like variables in terms of how it can progress, or how you choose to progress. So we have prevention and intervention, okay? Have we talked about those?
I think you've mentioned it before.
Okay, so doorbell rings, she's in place command, right? That's prevention. She's already preemptively under control, that it doesn't allow her to like charge the door or charge the guests when they come in, because she is contained, right?
Right.
And she thinks, well, I know if I jump off, I'm gonna get remote, so I'm gonna just sit here and like leave you alone. That's prevention, not even allowing the dog to perform the behavior. Intervention is she's not on place and she's free roaming in the home. And then like a guest comes in and they're walking around and she's walking around too. And they're coexisting. Okay, so they walk past her and she walks past them and there's no tension between them. Okay, so when we're trying to push the sociability, you have to kind of start going into those realms, okay? So if you utilize the place command, how that can benefit you is that it helps her learn she can be in a room with other people and be okay,
Right.
okay? However, when she's in place, you kind of like, think of the place command as sending a kid to their room. Okay, so growing up, sometimes my own friends over say, just go to your room, right? And let's say she always did that. And one day she's like, you know what, Jesse, you don't have to stay in your room, you can just be here, right? And friends come over and I start acting like a kid and misbehaving and being loud and playing my toys and whatever, right? Because I've not learned how to behave around the adults, because I've always been put in my room, and in my room I could do all that stuff with no problem, right? So then I'm like, hey, that's not how we behave around my friends or adults or whatever, right? So then she'd have to correct me and say like, you can't do that when people are around, you can't do that when people are around, you can't just turn on the TV and watch whatever you want when people are around, right? She's like, there's rules. So I'm learning how to now be in the context of other adults being around and how I conduct myself, okay? Same thing for her. So if you're always using place command, you're kind of sending her to her room where, yeah, she's behaving, she's not being a bother to anybody, but she's not learning how do I behave with them,
Right.
okay? So when we're trying to push for that coexistence and that trying to get her to open up with high reward and high risk, that's why we have the muzzle, okay? So the fact that she's muzzle conditioned puts you at a great advantage, because one, it helps you feel more relaxed. Two, it helps your guests feel more relaxed, that in case something happens, it's okay.
Right.
Three, almost always something happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and our instinct is typically, uh-oh, that was bad, take the dog and just put them in a different room. Right? Right? Well, no, we correct the dog for the behavior and we keep them in the context. Because like, let's say she does like attempt to bite somebody and you go, no, when you take her and you put her away and you separate her, you just give her what she wanted.
Right.
She either wanted them to leave or be out of the situation.
Right.
So by doing that, she's like, hey, if I attempt to bite somebody, you'll pull me out, take me out. Great. Let's just do that now, right? So what we do is we correct the behavior and then leave her within the context, okay? So super common when I get clients whose dogs have gotten in a fight within the home. They get in a fight, they pull them apart and they just separate them. And then an hour later, they try to bring them back together, boom, back to the fight again. Because that's where they left off.
Right.
So they never learn to get over that, this constant tension. Whereas if a fight were to happen here with dogs, we would correct them, stop the fight, and then leave them in the same, leave them in the playpen.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, we got in a fight, but they corrected us and stopped us, and we're still here with each other, right? So that didn't work. and they just learn to coexist, and that fighting isn't an option. Okay, so similar with dogs like this. Okay, so there would be more things involved. So one way would be you really utilize that place command, have people come over to get her over. I can be with people and not have to feel threatened
Right.
or like I have to be up, right? But it doesn't help her learn how to socialize. Okay, so you can always do that to like kind of warm her up. And then it's possible that you'll have her on place, and like let's say your brother comes over for like the 20th or 100th time, and then you see her just kind of wag your tail. Right, you're going like, hey, I've seen you 100 times, right? And it's not been a bad experience. And that's her opening up and saying, I'm beginning to trust you. Doesn't mean that she's ready, but you're starting to see her like be more relaxed and like kind of like, remember when we were doing this exercise and her tail wagged a bit? It's starting to come out a bit, very similar, okay? So that's one approach where you just kind of drill having people come over to get her used to being in the social space. Okay, she's just not being allowed to socialize. And then there's, I'll give a brief description of the exercise, but there's the place command as a prevention, and then there's a cleaning exercise that's more intervention. Okay, so she's on her leash, she got her equipment, someone knocks, she starts barking, being territorial. Is you use body language and e-collar to claim the space of the door to calm her down before your guest comes in. So she's not under any command. Okay, we use thresholds, and we back the dog behind a threshold to calm them down, and then the person comes in. So technically, if the dog is passive, we shouldn't see any aggressive responses because there's nothing to fuel them. If someone knocks and she triggers, and we do nothing to stop the reactivity to the door, and then your guest comes in, your dog is already up there in intensity, and then it just becomes greater because now that person has come into the home, now she feels more threatened. Okay, so I call this intervention because she's not under any kind of command. She can charge the door, she can charge the window, and you're intervening with the behavior and saying, I don't need you to do this, you need to cut it out and relax. So when the guest comes in and she's in a passive state, we technically shouldn't see any territorial behavior. So then, let's say your guest comes in and has a seat. At some point, she can start to kind of walk around and explore and stuff. Is now she's learning how to coexist. Okay, so she wouldn't be under place. So like, let's say, like there was one class that we did on the long leash where she started to kind of venture off and explore. So like, let's say it would look like that. Where your guest is just sitting on the couch, right? Completely ignoring Lucy. And she's just kind of wandering and sniffing and looking at them and like walking away and kind of observing, so she's free to do as she pleases, but she's learning how to be in the social space, okay? But this has to be very controlled. Because if the person just gets up like this, she could trigger, right? So then it would be like, hey guys, I'm gonna get up and like use the bathroom real quick. And you go, okay, and you're already up in the collar. And you're already watching Lucy kind of anticipating, is she gonna do something when they get up and move, right? And instead of a quick jump and get up, they would do like a slow gradual get up and like walk away. Because you're trying to get her used to, they're also gonna get up. And they're also gonna walk around. And they're also gonna re-enter the room, which might be a potential trigger. Because when they leave, even though they're just going around the corner to use the bathroom, when they come back in for a dog like her, it's a totally new thing. Okay, so then they're like, hey, I'm coming in. Okay, already got the collar ready, right? And you can have like step on the leash or have a leash in your hand or whatever. So in case when they enter in and she blows up again, boom, 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 you can stop her. And she comes back and they go and they have a seat on the couch and they go back to watching TV with you, right? So she thinks, okay, you left the room, you came back, I blew up, I got corrected, and you went back to the couch where you were before, and we went back to doing what we were doing, and I'm still here. Okay, is she has to attempt these things, be corrected for it, and then we go back to living the context that we were. So she thinks, okay, I guess what I do isn't going to affect this. Okay, because she's going, get out of here. And the person goes, nope. And you're going, nope, you're correct. And I'm going to continue to be here and coexist and watch TV. And she's like, all right, well, that didn't work. And eventually we may start to see her open up.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's just the coexistence stuff. Okay? And then there's proactively doing things to push her to open up. Okay? So that's what I've been doing these past few weeks.
Yeah.
With the touching her and making her come to me, like all those things are things to get her over social interactions that she's uncomfortable with. Okay, so you could always do place, right? Get a feel for that. Okay, she looks like she's warming up to people, and then the door exercise thing we have to do at home, and we'll talk about that's a separate thing. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we get that involved. Then you start practicing that instead of place, okay? And it's just her loose walking and coexisting and not under control and seeing like, what does she do? Does she like stay in the corner and like act awkwardly, or does she come up to them and start growling at them to like bully them, okay? So then in which we would correct that. And then once we got that down, we start blending in, okay, now we're gonna remote her, and she's gonna jump up on the couch and sit next to them and hang out with them for 2 hours while you watch a movie. Okay, or she's gonna come and lay at their feet for an hour while you watch a movie. Is in order for her to start to open up, you have to kind of flood in a way to where she has to let it go. So remember when I promoted her and she was kind of sitting here?
Yeah.
And she was doing well, right? And all of a sudden she started growling and she lunged, right? And we were just sitting there, right? That kind of stuff, okay? So that's why I've been doing this, to get it in her head like, nope, that's not gonna happen. So by the time we try to do that with a guest, ideally we don't even see it.
Right.
Because I took the blunt of everything, okay? So then when we start to apply it to your brother or guest, whatever, there may be attempts, but they shouldn't be as intense because she's already been through it before. It's just with a different person, okay? So then, if she comes over and lays down next to them because of remote, and then an hour later she's come down and tries to walk away, you would remote her. And she has to come back and stay with them. So now you're flooding the brain with time and being next to someone that she doesn't know and being uncomfortable. Because she can only stay like that for so long. At some point the brain goes, I'm tired, I need to rest. And they kind of just let it go. And then they just learn to just lay down and chill and like fall asleep next to the person. But it could take, 2 to 3 hours before you see that. So if let's say every time your brother comes over, you always do like an hour of her like at his side, and he's just completely ignoring her. He's not touching her, he's just sitting there like that, right? And in the beginning, you'll probably see her like this, panting and salivating a lot, right? The entire hour. You keep doing it every day, every day, every day. And then one day, you see her and she starts panting, and then 15 minutes in, she just kind of lays down. Because she's like, man, every time you come over, the entire time I'm just like this, and it's exhausting, and I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And she starts to give in, but then she's learning she can be in a kind of vulnerable position next to someone she doesn't really feel comfortable with, and everything is fine. Okay, well that's what you're trying to open up the brain to, is that there's other ways of being with people around, and you're gonna be fine. Right, and I think I did, I think maybe the last time where I kind of rolled her over.
Yeah.
And was just getting her used to like just being calm with her, just like having her right there with me.
Right.
And then not doing anything with her. Like stuff like that, but we want her to start making those decisions herself.
Yeah.
Okay? So with where you're at now so far, how do you want to progress with it yourselves?
I would say intervention. Like that route, to get her comfortable with just people existing.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not sure that John is fully ready for that.
No, I know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that that's what I would like.
Yeah.
It's gonna take time.
Gotcha.
Is there, John's your brother?
Yeah.
Is there anyone who's more comfortable with her?
Yeah, but we're not talking to her.
Yeah.
That's the really crap part. I mean, you have two friends who want to participate.
Yeah, and then I said that
they just
after-
haven't met her yet.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So they would probably be the best bet if they really are truly comfortable.
Yeah, I can invite them over and have them, we'll first do place with them and then maybe do the intervention. Or could we do the intervention first rather than place?
Right, so what we would do here is, we gotta cover the exercise.
Right.
Okay, so, what suburb are you guys from?
We're in Grace Lake, so Lake
Okay, so
County, we're north.
You're north?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what we have to do is set it up through Maria, which you guys are my last one, I think we have for Sundays. Is you do get a discounted travel rate, okay? It's just a flat 50.
Yeah.
Whereas for everybody else, it's like $100-something
Okay.
because you did the behavior program.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's per class. So what we would do is I only do the in-home stuff that I know needs to be done at home.
Yeah.
The intervention has to be done at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would do is I'd send you a video of me doing an in-home session where we're doing this exercise. You'd watch and review that video to get an idea of like what are we covering with Jessie. Okay, and what we can do with this is two things. Okay, one, it's getting you familiar with how are we going to apply this concept in your own home. Okay, the other thing is I can come in with a suit. So once you've done the exercise, we can see how much of it impacts her behavior. Okay, so there's dogs that look aggressive and there's dogs that are more so aggressive. Okay, now she's one that I was described as more so aggressive because of fear. Okay, but in another case where the dog is lunging and barking, and I've had dogs even attempt to bite people, it's usually just a very mishandled dog. Okay, that when the owner does this and calms the dog down and backs him off or her off, and they come in, you don't see anything. And the dog actually opens up and starts to socialize. But that's a dog that doesn't have as big of a fear issue, right? It's a dog that's just, they're not handling it correctly, and it's causing more frustration, and the frustration comes out as aggressive behavior, okay? So for them, their dog more easily and quickly turns around and becomes social because there really wasn't any issue there.
Right.
It was just teaching them, this is how you handle your dog in this situation, right? So for you, we've done all that kind of the precursor work of like pushing boundaries, touching and making her come into me and all that stuff. And now we go to the home because let's say I knock on the door, she blows up and I walk in and I go and touch her, we'll probably still see an aggressive response, even though we've not seen it here for like me coming to touch her, because there's more fueling that.
Right.
Because of the knock. The knock makes such a huge difference for dogs, okay? So like I get clients like Jessie, if I meet the guest outside and I come with them inside, there's no problem. But if they knock on the door and they come inside, my dog hates it. I go, yeah, because when you meet them outside, you're avoiding the knock. So there's nothing that triggers territorial behavior or territorial mindset, and that's the problem, okay? So even though we've done all this touch stuff, if you don't shut down territorial behavior, you're still more than likely going to see a negative response, okay? So these are all pieces to the puzzle that you're getting. So then, you know, we would teach that, and then I come in with the suit. She can have her leash on, but she needs hands muzzle. And I go and I go to touch her, and she just sits there awkwardly, and I walk around, and I have a seat, and she's just sitting there awkwardly. And she's like, okay, this is now you're in my own home, right?
Right.
And then we see, great, when you do the exercise paired with everything that we did here, we're not seeing the aggression, okay? So then we start to build on that. So then once you see that, then it's like, okay, when guests come over, same concept, but she would be muzzled, and we wouldn't worry about your guests touching her. Okay, you're just getting used to coexistence.
Yeah.
Okay, because everything's gonna be stressful in the beginning, because it's gonna be like,
Right.
is she gonna do something?
That was the entire weekend. I was like, oh my God, this is going to go terribly wrong. Like I feel it, and
I did not know you felt that way.
oh
I
my
felt
God, I
everything
was
was gonna be
so
fine.
nervous because it was like the first time, and
Yeah, as soon
Very
as you placed her the first time, I just thought everything was gonna be okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
she did great with
I think she's been doing a really good job. You've been doing a phenomenal job with place and, keeping her under control for things.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, so I think next step would be, we plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
We plan for an in-home, I can show up with the suit and everything.
Yeah.
And then we'll work on the backing away exercise, getting an understanding of it. And it doesn't just apply to like with people coming over, it also applies to like just cleaning space. So like, let's say you wanted Lucy to stay out there. You would just back her off into that space, and what you're telling her is, you can do anything you want over there, you just can't walk across that threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is more behavioral control than it is mechanical obedience type control, because obedience is very strict.
Mm-hmm.
Go on that bed and don't get off. Sit, put your butt down, right? Down, lay down, don't get up, right? It's very strict. But with this one's more of so I refer to that as a go to your room, but that's more strict. A go to your room is like literally go to this room, I don't care what you're doing here, but just don't act up. It's very much similar that you could back her off into another part of the home where it's like, look, we're gonna be over here, having a good time. You can be over here, do what you want. Just don't bark and whatever and grumble and growl. But you can walk around, sit down, lay down, jump on the couch, I don't care. Just don't come over here.
Right.
Okay? So it's a different type of stationary control, okay, because it's threshold based. And we'll see how all these things kind of overlap with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get a view of that, I can give you more insight on how you apply it with people, okay? Because then ultimately, if you're trying to get her to open up to people, we need her to be in that intimate space.
Yeah.
Okay, which is hard because then you have someone who's got to volunteer, and then shit's gonna happen.
Right.
Like, it's part of the process. But I'm hoping you'd be educated enough where you can predict things before it happen, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what makes me good, is that I can usually call things before they happen.
Right.
Because I'm like, I've already done this 100 times. Like, we're probably gonna see this. But for the owner, it's like, is this normal? I'm like, yeah. That's why I usually call things out first. So when it does happen, the owner's like, is this okay? And I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yes, dogs crap themselves when we do this stuff because she's that scared.
Yeah.
Okay? Questions about any of this stuff so far?
No.
What's her favorite reward?
Oh, boiled chicken, which we forgot to bring today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, we've had a funeral and some
It's just a very stressful
terrible
weekend.
family drama, and it just slipped our mind.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
But that's something that we would use.
Okay.
Okay? If you have someone in next class,
Yeah.
we'll test it out because it lets me know what's her stress level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So like we come in, we do the exercise and stuff, and then I offer her chicken and she takes it. That's good because that means her stress levels are low enough that she's willing to take the food from me.
Yeah.
If she's not, that's also lets us know like that's where she's at. So I always use that as a kind of barometer. Where I'll tell people like, if you're guessing offering your dog chicken and your dog never takes it, and then finally the 20th time they come over, they finally take it, it's telling your dog's getting more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we also have a positive to pair with everything to help incentivize her to open up to people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then this is of course when she acts up, and then the positive is like good things come from people.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions about any of that stuff?
No. Not for me.
Okay. How's she doing with all the obedience stuff?
Stay, we've been working on stay, especially picking up poop. That's been going good. I haven't been doing it with her in the driveway. I've just been kind of doing it with her when I take her for her walks. And I make her stay, and then I actually, like, after I pick up her poop, I do the circle and then I come back and then we go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been good.
I am doing stay with her at just random intervals on her walks. So she is, so I think that we need to do it more often because she's, with me, whenever I pick up her poop, she stays fine. But when I stop, just randomly and have her stay.
She picks, like her butt just picks up.
She lifts up her butt, and then I have to correct her.
As if we are like
Yeah,
continue.
and you've been definitely been walking her more often than I have lately.
Yeah, usually I have to like. The morning walks is usually when she won't. She'll pick up her butt, but then the afternoon walk she'll stay. She'll actually listen. So.
Yeah. So I think it's just she needs more work on.
We need to do stay more.
Yeah, it's just finding, and stay for me is the least useful command, because everything that we teach has implied stay.
Yeah.
It's just finding places to put it.
Right.
You know, and then because you guys are out in the suburb, your setup is a bit different. So like my city clients will use stay because they live like in like apartments or condos or whatever. So there's like a lot of doors.
Yeah.
So they'll use the stay so they can open the door and kind of scope it out, heal, and then bring their dog through, as opposed to walking out and then like being surprised by like the dog being there. So, but yeah, I'm not too worried about the stay. I'll definitely keep working on it just because it's more control. But that's pretty common. Okay. Place command, you said you had to do up to 3 hours, so that was good.
3 hours was the best that we've ever gotten her up to.
We've had her placed now and been like 1 or 2 rooms away where she will stay placed. If we're too loud, she'll get up.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're having fun. She doesn't want.
Once we're having fun, that's when.
That's when
She's like, I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up.
Okay.
But where our kitchen is and where we had her placed the entire weekend, I was able to see her still.
Yes, we can see
If
her.
we were in a different room, because how our setup is, it's.
And she was keeping her head down, and she'd lift her head up, and the noise level would rise, and then she'd just lay back down, which was good.
Yeah.
And then any exposure to new environments or not any this week?
Not any this week.
Okay. And I'm sorry, you went to Home Depot before?
Yeah. Oh no, we went to
That's
That's
yeah.
what I thought. Okay, I thought it was
Mhm.
Or Petco.
Yeah.
Petco.
Okay, cool. Does she know the sit or down commands at all?
She does know sit,
With hand signal.
Yeah,
So
so-
it is
sit.
sit with hand signal.
Okay. What about down?
No.
She doesn't know the word, she knows the hand signal.
The hand signal. Does she have any allergies?
Yes, grass.
Grass is a big one.
By any protein allergies?
No.
Not that we're aware of.
No protein allergies.
Okay. I'll be back. I'm gonna grab some
Okay.
treats real quick.
Oh, look at you, you're such a cool girl. No, oh, look at you, you have a baby. Yeah.
She's a little nervous.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, oh, you're such a good girl. Oh, yes, what a good girl. What a good girl. Oh, what a good girl. Yeah, I know.
Wait, you hear a bag?
Oh, you're dead.
Okay. I was out at the park and I got my butt up on the bottom of my shoes.
Yeah, oh man, that rain.
Oh yeah, yesterday I had a bunch of clients and like they all got pushed to today, so I've been back to back all day.
Yeah.
So go ahead and bring her over here.
Okay. On this side.
Okay. And then show me how you would down her.
I would probably trying to think, how do I do it?
You usually have a tree in your hand.
Yeah, I usually have a treat. And I go down, down. Okay, hang on. We had to do it in order. Sit,
Yep.
paw, paw,
Sure.
paw.
There we go.
Good girl. Other paw. Lie down. Lie down. All the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, good girl. Yeah. So lie down is very much in a sit.
Sequence.
Yes, it's in a sequence.
Let's try, let's do 4 more of those sequences.
Okay. We got sit. Paw. Paw.
Good.
Good girl. Other paw. Good girl. Lie down. Good girl. Lie down. Lie down.
Mm-hmm.
Lie down. Good girl.
That's okay, I'll take that for now.
Good girl. There you go.
I'm trying to get
Ah, you're having trouble. I'm sorry. That's me. I'm having trouble. Okay. Okay. Got to sit. Sit. And then paw. Good girl. Other paw. Other paw. Good girl. And then lie down. Lie down. I know. You lie down. Yes. We shook. We shook. Lie down. Lie down. Oh yeah. Oh, we shook.
the flat of your palm.
Oh.
Remember?
Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Okay.
Now, when you taught her, did you use like the treat to lure her, or was it kind of just getting her to figure it out?
So when I was the one that taught her down.
Yeah.
So
You taught her down.
Now, have you tried? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You try, because clearly,
Right.
go.
Lucy, come here. Sit. Paw. Paw. Good girl. Other paw. Good girl. Down. Down. Nervous. Down. Down.
She's like, I already did this. I don't want
See
to do
this?
it anymore.
1, 2, down. Down.
Try this. I'm gonna have you bring the treat to her nose
Okay.
and slowly just down, but keep it in front of her nose, okay?
Okay.
So as you're coming down, if you lose her nose, you come back up and slowly, you want her to just, with the scent, just follow it straight down.
Okay. Down. Down.
Yes,
Down.
let into it. But have you ever taught a dog like that?
No.
Where you
No.
use yeah, so.
I haven't.
Down.
These are tender beef.
She really loves, she usually really loves beef.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead and have a seat. So, and you can give her those as freebies. What I'd have you guys do here
Okay.
is, as a side project,
Yeah.
is when you can, you're gonna review the down kit. Okay, but you're gonna use food.
Yeah.
And I would use high value stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's literally just bringing it to the nose and slowly going down and to keep following it. So I can see she's got a concept of it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm surprised you actually got like the first 2 or 3 that you got with me here, because you can see her, she kept kind of like side-eyeing me,
Yeah.
right? So she was uncomfortable, but she was relaxed enough that she was like, okay, like, I'll do these few things that I know, but after so many, she's like, yeah, I'm too stressed, I'm not gonna do it anymore, okay? That's all fine. So here at home, going from the sitting position straight into the down, using the food slowly, and you can even go on YouTube and look at like how to teach a dog to down the food, okay, or treats. And anything you watch is fine, okay? It's not gonna screw her up in any way. It's just shaping the behavior for the next couple of weeks, because it may take a little bit of time before we can get it fairly consistent. I don't need it to be spectacular,
Right.
because when we go to layer remote behind it, it makes life a lot easier if the dog is very familiar with it using food. Okay, because it's against the dog's instinct to go into a submissive position with e-collar, okay? So for my clients, I'll always recommend to them, you know, if their dog doesn't know down, like teach it with food first. Or if the dog does know down, I'll tell them review it for the week, you know, at least once a day for 3 to 5 minutes. So by the time we come back to layer remote over it, it's not like the dog's already like in that mode of like, this is what we've been doing, okay? So we have 3 of 6 obedience commands so far.
Yeah.
So we still have the sit, the down, and the recall to cover. So Next class, we'll go to intervention in home.
Okay.
I'll send you videos to review, to prep you for the class. We'll have it talk about how you're gonna progress with it.
Okay.
We could probably at that point take a tangent to work on more obedience stuff. Okay. So some weeks, sometimes it's been obedience, in other classes it's been behavioral stuff. It's kind of going to be jumping back and forth. So like, let's say we do the in-home, we do the coexisting, and we keep it simple. So don't worry about people touching her, just keep it coexisting, right? Then the next class we take a tangent on teaching them down in the sit command. Then the next class we come back, how's it been? Oh, we've had like 8 people come over on different occasions, and she's actually been okay with coexisting. Like she'll just kind of hang out, and like she's awkward, but she's like not being aggressive or like lunging or barking at them when they move. I go, okay, cool, keep with that. Potentially doing another in-home where I come in, you do the exercise, you've already learned it as opposed to teaching it. I come in and start putting more pressure on her with the touch and everything. See what does she keep, or you can even have me come out and then someone comes 15 minutes after me. And then I walk you through like, okay, having your guests come over and then pushing to the next level with your guests, but I'm there. So then I can walk you through everything.
Okay.
And then taking another tangent. Okay, work on more obedience, control stuff as you work on the behavioral stuff. Okay, the getting her to open up is what's going to take the longest.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's going to be kind of a back and forth.
Right.
Once we get to a point where it's you got good obedience control, level of control, and everything like that, we've covered all the commands, and then you're working on the socialization stuff. Then I start to most likely see you more spaced out.
Yeah.
Because now you're gonna need time to like have a bunch of people come over, to have bad moments, have good moments, and all that stuff, and go like, Jesse, she really has a hard time at like really loud people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's normal. Let's try this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
My brother-in-law was there, and like he gets very animated, and that was when she got
That
up.
was when she got up and then grumbled and.
Complaining about, I don't even remember.
Right. So all that, like for me, like I already know all that stuff, right? So then I come in and start helping help tying up any of these kind of loose ends and stuff until we get to a point where it's just time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just time and a lot of repetition. And realistically speaking, the people that will be over on a regular basis, your brother, your families, friends like that, that's the most realistic to expect. Okay. Now we can do all these things and you can drill them out 1,000 times, but if it's just like, I don't like people outside of you guys, in her mind, then that's just her.
Yeah.
But you're at a point where you have enough control that you can have people come over and not have to worry about like, keeping her isolated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or anything?
No. I
Okay.
don't have any.
So today was more like a review.
Yeah. No, it was great because like we had a weekend, so like tell me like.
Week.
Yeah. So like review is great. This is great.
Good.
This is great.
Do you plan on having any people over this week? How should the 4th of July fireworks?
Oh God, I am.
So that's gonna suck because we're not even gonna be home, right?
What?
Or 4th of July is Sunday.
Yeah.
4th of July is Sunday.
Sunday. Okay,
Yeah.
so
We will be home.
we'll be home.
Yes,
Okay,
we
no.
said because there's an anime convention going on this week, Friday, Saturday. And I was like, let's not go Sunday because of 4th of July. Like, I really just don't want to
Yeah.
Okay.
have 2 stressful days. But, that's going to be very interesting is what it's going to be. Because she's not very good we've tried the Thunder Vest or whatever, all those different types of vests.
Palm
and
trees,
palm
Thunder
trees.
Vest.
This year we have a basement that she can kind of go in and kind of chill down there because the older dog's also doesn't like the fireworks, doesn't.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Does she have a kennel?
Yes, we do have one.
Is she kennel trained?
No.
No, she hates it.
She hates
Okay.
it, yeah.
My pit, like for 4th, she hates fireworks, is she'll either nuzzle up against me
Yeah,
or she'll go to her kennel.
okay.
That's what safe. Like I'll just cover it with a blanket and like close it, and
Yeah.
she'll just like as soon as the first firework goes off, I already know she's not gonna potty anymore. I'll literally just pop her in a kennel, and she won't come out till the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, she'll hold it for like 24 hours to like not go outside with fireworks. So, you could technically use place command for that actually.
Okay,
So when she hears the booms and stuff, it's you know dogs can get anxious
yeah,
and just being given direction, okay? Because you can't make her like the fireworks, right? Just like anything else, but you can help her kind of what's the word when you like distract yourself with something to like deal with something else. There's a word for it.
I know what you're saying, but I have no idea what word it is. But
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I think of it like it's a distraction from what is actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're able to just focus on that.
Correct, right, to deal with that kind
Yeah.
of problem. So same thing for her, if you place her and all that stuff is going on, like she's like, I want that word so bad. You know, she's just more, this is what I'm doing, I
Yeah.
don't like what's going on out there, but I'm just gonna like really focus on this
Yeah.
to deal with that,
Mhm.
okay? Yeah, see how she does. The Thundervest type stuff, it's kind of hit or miss. People tend to put them on when the dog is already in stress, and you're supposed to put them on before.
Right. We try, like, she just hates wearing, like, any type of clothing. She doesn't like it. She doesn't
Mhm.
like wearing it. So, like, I put it on her, like, prior to her being
jackets
stressed.
in the winter.
Jackets in the
She
winter.
hates that, even though she'd rather
The-
freeze.
Yeah, she would rather just not have any of it on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, we still put the jacket on her in the winter, but she just hates it.
Yeah.
She tries to rip it off. Yeah.
yeah, because we're in a new neighborhood now, too. And so we don't know, like, the fireworks situation. Like,
I
we live-
know Six Flags is gonna be shooting off fireworks.
Right,
But I don't know, that being as far away as it is, probably not gonna hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's gonna be like with, you know, any of the local farmers or anything.
Yeah, I don't
doing stuff on
know.
their
I don't
property.
know the fireworks situation in our neighborhood this year. I know prior, like living in Burbank, where we
Awful.
were, it was very stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, from the south side, where like it's like gunshots and fireworks.
Right. That's where it was like yeah, man, you don't know. You just know, and that's the game. You play the game.
If you're outside and she hears a firework, do you think she'd like want to run away?
Yeah, she
Oh,
runs.
she would. I mean, I can almost guarantee you she would do like the whole like jumping like to get far away from whatever sound it was.
Yeah, she jump.
She'll jump and then
She'll jump and then take off.
then try to take off.
Whichever direction she feels safest,
Yeah.
which usually was back in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had at our old house, we had a 6-foot fence
Yeah.
all the way around, so she couldn't jump that, so she wouldn't try to get past that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she would go to the safest spots that she feels, which were under my desk or under your desk, and she'd
Yeah.
just stay there.
Yeah.
Or she'd crawl under the covers under the bed.
Yeah.
Yep, makes sense. How long have you guys been in the neighborhood?
Since December.
December, yeah.
Okay, so like half a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Any random fireworks out there or no?
There have been a couple.
There's a gun range, outdoor gun range.
Yeah.
Within, well,
But she's
audible
not very.
She doesn't react to that
She
though.
doesn't react to that, so I don't think that's an issue. I've heard like local fireworks, but she's been downstairs with you when they've gone off.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
think
they're
she
not,
can
and they're
hear
not
them.
that much louder than the gunshots either.
Right.
So,
Well, they were closer by the ones I heard.
okay. And she doesn't even really react to the motorcycle.
She does not react to the motorcycle anymore because me and him, I walk by that guy every day and we wave to each other and she's grown accustomed
I'm
to
just
the
trying to
sound
think if
now.
there's anything in our neighborhood now that is even remotely close to her reacting to as it turns out. The other dog's barking.
Mhm.
Like, she perks up, but she doesn't run back inside. She
Mhm.
doesn't really care.
I think we'll probably do the police command on 4th of
Fourth,
July
yeah.
to chill, like to just have her chill out.
Anytime that she gets corrected where she's barking outside, she runs back inside.
Gotcha. Only reason why I ask is like, 'cause a lot of dogs are flight response
Yeah.
to like fireworks. Is if you were ever to be outside and be caught off guard by a firework
Mhm.
and you weren't like near home and she takes off, it would be counter conditioning where she doesn't run away, she actually runs to you.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, you know, and that can always be taught at any point once we get into recall stuff.
Mhm.
So just like if you're walking with her, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you get caught off by like a firework and she just like yanks you and then she just goes into flight mode, then I go for sure that's something that we wanna cover.
Okay.
And it's just essentially making like the cue of the firework or making the firework a cue of don't run away from me.
Right.
Come to run to me. Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So homework for the week is continue with all the stuff that you have been. And if you can, you know, just having people over,
Yeah.
you know, doing more of that, doing more exposure to new places
Okay.
if you can.
We do have to get dog food this week, so. Kage's food is out of stock, and so I have to go to.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah, I have to go
she's fine.
No, she's fine. It's
Yeah,
the
well,
other
other
dog.
day. Yeah.
So I
She
have to
gets
go to pet
she
shop.
gets the expensive food because of her stomach.
And the next one we'll plan for an in-home.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't get anything from me within like a day or two,
Okay.
please shoot me an email.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, like, hey Jesse, send us the door videos.
Yeah.
Because I know we have one for sure, and I think we have a new one with another case with Doug, who's the other like intense case that I'm working
Yeah.
with. So you get a visual of what the exercise is supposed to do. Okay?
Cool.
Anything else?
No, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Good job, guys. She's doing good. I don't know, did she grumble at me at all?
No, she didn't.
She's been perfectly
Not that I
fine.
heard, so no. She's
Good.
just been staring at you.
I was so used to her not grumbling that I put the remote in my pocket. So.
Yeah, I was paying attention. I don't think she did grumble.
No, you did a good job.
Good job.